Okay, if you're a parent, you know there's a lot to worry about. But what if one of the biggest concerns for your kid's health is, well, hiding in plain sight, in the stuff you use every single day? We're talking about plastics. And a brand new study just came out that shows what parents know, what they don't know, and what we can all do about it. So let's dive in.
So I want you to think about this for a second. Have you ever worried about plastics in your child's health? It's a huge question, right? It can feel kind of overwhelming. We all see those pictures of plastic floating in the ocean, but the latest science shows the problem is actually much, much closer to home. Let's take a look at what it means for our families.
All right, first things first. Before we go any further, what exactly are we even talking about when we say microplastics? Let's break down this, well, tiny problem.
So you've definitely heard of microplastics, but what about nanoplastics? They're even tinier, and together, scientists just call them MNPs. Just imagine these microscopic little fragments breaking off of everything: plastic containers, toys, even clothes. They are so incredibly small that they can literally float in the air or get into our food and water without us ever knowing.
And get this, these MMPs are everywhere, especially inside our own homes. Yeah, forget the ocean for a second. Researchers have found that one of the biggest sources is just regular old indoor dust. And that's a huge deal, especially for our little ones who spend so much time playing on the floor, right? These particles are also in our tap water, in our food, and even in the clothes we're wearing right now.
So, knowing that these things are all around us, what do parents actually know about them? Well, a recent Canadian study asked 300 parents and parents-to-be exactly that. And the results? They're pretty fascinating. And what they found is that, for the most part, parents are definitely aware of the issue. A big chunk, 79%, know what microplastics are, and 75% get that they're bad for the environment. So the message is out there for sure. But as we're about to see, that is only half the story. Because here's the twist. While everyone seems to know about plastic in the ocean, the study uncovered this huge disconnect when it comes to our own personal health. And this is especially true for new and expecting parents.
Just look at this number, 63%. Now, this represents the majority of parents in the survey who were genuinely surprised, either very or somewhat surprised, by the information that's on our very next slide.
And there it is. This is the critical point. There's this massive gap between knowing about plastics out in the world and knowing about plastics inside of us. And for a group of people who are so focused on giving their kids a healthy start in life, this piece of missing information changes everything.
And this is where it gets incredibly personal. Scientists have found these tiny plastic particles in some of the most intimate places you can imagine. We're talking about the human placenta, in breast milk, in our blood, and even in a newborn's first stool, known as meconium. Suddenly, this isn't some distant environmental problem anymore. It's about the health of our children from their very first moments of existence. Now, I know that sounds really worrying, but here's the thing. The study also found something incredibly hopeful. It turns out there's this powerful, almost unanimous desire among parents to do something about it, to take action and protect their families.
98%. Just let that sink in for a second. You almost never see a number that high in any survey about anything. It is a crystal clear, resounding message. Parents are absolutely ready to act. That's right. Pretty much every single parent in the study was willing to make at least one change to their home or their daily routine to cut down on their family's exposure to plastics. The motivation is absolutely there, no question about it.
So what kind of changes are we talking about? Well, the top choice, with 88% support, was cutting back on single-use plastics. Water bottles, plastic forks, that kind of thing. Next up, 73% said they were ready to ditch products with those little microbeads in them. Other things, like switching to wooden toys or natural fiber clothing, those were seen as a bit harder, probably because of cost, but there was still a whole lot of interest.
Okay, so if the motivation, the will to act is there, what's the key to actually unlocking it? Well, the study draws a direct and really powerful line from knowing the facts to taking action. And here it is. This is the big takeaway. Knowledge really is power. The study found that the parents who knew that MNPs had been found on the human body were way more likely to make changes. We're talking about being more likely to change their purchasing habits and being more likely to make 3 or more changes to their daily lives. It shows just how much this one piece of information can drive action.
The study's authors really said it best themselves. Just making people aware of the potential human health connection is a really important, a critical first step in empowering them to make different choices for their families. But there's one last layer to this whole thing. Because while parents are clearly ready and willing to take action themselves, it seems like they feel they're kind of on their own here. The study found a pretty shocking lack of confidence in any kind of official oversight. Just look at these numbers. Over 70% of parents said they either don't trust or are unsure if the government is doing enough to regulate and test products. Only 29%, just 29%, feel confident. That is a really big deal. It means parents feel like they're the only ones in this fight. And that leaves us with this final crucial question. We have this huge group of parents who are incredibly motivated to act, but they're missing key information and they don't trust the institutions that are supposed to protect them. So whose job is it to bridge that gap? Is it up to scientists, policymakers, doctors, or is it up to us, to individuals, to share this information in a way that empowers people without causing panic? It's definitely something to think about.